I have a point of view that I don't particularly agree with when it comes to this cap versus uncapped concept that we have. There have been players in the IPL. I went down a rabbit hole to try and like see who are the folks that I wanted to specifically talk about here. Shreyas Gopal.
Mm,
So this guy has been playing in the IPL since 2014. Of
mm,
course, like, Abhishek Sharma, Harpreet Brar in Punjab has been playing for 3 years. Akash Madhwal has been playing in MI for a bunch of years. What is playing for India got to do with the value that these guys to be retained? Why is there a correlation between whether you played for India or not, as compared to what value you bring to your IPL team in the IPL? Again, like, this conflation between India and the IPL, there's a bunch of places where it just doesn't make sense. Why is there a concept of uncapped players base salary start is 30K versus capped player base salary start is 75 as 30 lakhs to 75 lakhs? If they were good enough and they were picked for India, they are going to automatically get paid more. Why does there have to be two scales even to begin with? I don't like understand this concept at all. And to me, like, it starts to get into these young players wanting to decide if their team approaches them to say, hey, we want to retain you at 4 crores. Those players now having to make the decision on, does it make sense for me to be retained at 4 crores or should I go into the option? Because it is a two-way decision. It's not the
mm.
team just deciding. And a player in their like early 20s are probably not going to be the most informed. You can't expect them to be the most informed to make these choices, to understand which team is looking for what kinds of players, what is their purse at, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Goes back to the point that you were initially talking about, somehow to do with agents. Firstly, this capped uncapped concept is just something that we have created, inflating India with the IPL, which doesn't make sense. With the
Mm,
fact that, it exists, it requires a deep thought from the players of the actual value that they might be picked at, making the case for agents to be more present as compared to like a 24-year-old making
mm.
his own choice on what is the right thing for him to do.
Yeah,
So,
Srinath, I think this is such an important topic and a bit of a, I wouldn't say controversial. I think this capped uncapped has been very, very uh, IPL centric. I don't think it exists as a concept in other leagues. For example, a player who has played for India in the past and someone who can make the cut to Indian cricket team and magically doesn't play for the years to come can be an uncapped player as well. So imagine the caliber that you can get as an Indian player who represented the country and being undervalued, right? At undervalued. So I mean, I'm talking about a couple of scenarios, not just for the younger uncapped players. Like imagine Piyush Shah, a fantastic player. Imagine Ruturaj Gaikwad was uncapped, right? And he bet on being as a part of the CSK team during his career, and he was retained, and now he's the captain of CSK. And for people to make such decisions to either to be retained as a part of the CSK or like a team, or go and challenge themselves, really believe in themselves to be out there in the auction and get picked up, it's such a toss up, right? It can
yeah.
go any which ways. And this is where, like you mentioned, right, Srinath, I think there should be a lot more systems in place, like even like agents who can actually take that call for the player. Because like a 20-year-old player, it's it's a toss up. Like imagine like one day you can be like leading CSK versus like being part of the bench, right? Such a big toss up.
Yeah, and I also think like the number of years that you played in the IPL should count for
Yes,
something,
yes,
as opposed to
absolutely.
whether you played for India or not. Like, why is playing for India any bit of it has any impact on what price you
Yeah,
get picked for in the
yeah.
IPL? Doesn't make any sense to me, this whatsoever. Again, I don't see anybody else talking about why do we even have this concept, cap versus uncapped. I mean, for someone who's played in the IPL for 7, 8 years, if that is not being recognized and you're still an uncapped player and you have a low bar, like, what is the, you have been valuable to a team for 7 years. Is that
Correct.
counting for something? It to
Yeah.
me like doesn't make sense.